Ready to embark on a journey of limitless curiosity? Join us on the Being Curious Show, where we curiously connect teachers and seekers in a safe space, exploring a vast array of topics that spark the flame of curiosity within you. We've created a community for thoughtful discussions where teachers share their wisdom and seekers explore the depths of their curiosity. It's a space where diverse perspectives come together, fostering connection and understanding. Our intention is simple: to ignite your curiosity and create a life that totally lights you up. Hello, everybody. It is Kelly from the Being Curious Show. Today, what fun I get to play with you guys. First off, it would help if I would make it the right side up, right? Here is the latest edition of Edge Magazine. It's only going to be on the streets for another week, and then the new one's coming out. So make sure you grab it. It's all good. Hey, we have an amazing interview today. Much aloha to Mark, who is a really special soul, and I'm so excited to bring him into the community. He's a new partner at the Edge, and I discovered his Andara crystals, and they are amazing, and I can't wait to share. As you know, I'm kind of a crystal girl, and when Kim Woods, who is also a partner, told me about these, I placed an order, and I got these magical guys along with these guys too. And if you haven't seen them yet, haven't heard of them yet, you're going to have fun today. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Mark and not Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Kelly. I'm good.
How are you?
I'm good.
You're good and good and then good. We'll say it 3 times just for fun. Okay, so my first question to you today is, what are you curious about? And I know this is you, so anything's possible.
Things that I'm curious about, and mostly with how we as beings interact with the spirituality and metaphysical world, and how to bring that more into a common knowledge kind of thing.
Absolutely. Okay. So today's shows, because we're going to have a couple shows with you. Today, we're focusing on the Andara crystals. Tell us about how you discovered them.
It's not that I discovered them. They discovered me.
Ah, there we go. Okay. How did they discover you?
Because I was on an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. There was no way that I would ever find those guys on Kauai. And at the time, my wife opened up a metaphysical store, and they literally walked in the door on a necklace with this glowing light coming out of that stone. And that's all oh my goodness, what is that? And then that's when I met the person, and she gave me an answer. Oh, this is an Andara, which I had never heard before. And this is back in 2001.
Got it.
Never. Okay, what's an Andara crystal? So she gave me the short story of it, of where they came from, what they were. Really wasn't that much information at that time about exactly why crystals were so powerful. Nobody knew why. They just knew they were. And of course.
Okay, so give the story, because come on, because you look at them, and I've had so many people say they look like cut glass, and I'm like, oh, no. And then I hand it to them, and then they're like, oh. So what is the story on these beautiful things?
Well, there was a lot of synchronicity on at that time. Not only did they walk into the store, within a week, I was in contact with the person in California that was the distributor for Lady Nellie, where the Andara crystals were originally found and named. So that synchronicity happened, but still, I wanted more information. See, I'm one of those guys that are both into the metaphysical world and the scientific world.
Right.
So I want to be able to explain that from both the spiritual metaphysical world and the why are these stones so powerful? What's making the difference? A lot of regular crystals, say quartz and whatnot, a lot of it has to be resonance, how old they are, exactly who has handled them, what kind of spiritual energy have they been around in. There's a whole lot of more metaphysical rather than scientific. With our crystals, I knew the metaphysical part. Yeah, they're strong, powerful crystals, and they do a lot of different things. But why are they the way they are? Because they look like obsidian or glass,
Mhm.
yet they do not give off that energy at all. I've held glass. I've held glass that looks like and nothing. And yet, with the our crystals, they have this energy that you're drawn to. It's healing, it's powerful, it's light, and sometimes they even talk to you. Day one, they were already talking. So once we had them in hand, I needed to find out what they were.
Right.
And the funny part was, you know how when you have a store, you put your items out on a counter so everybody can see them so you can sell them.
Right.
That didn't happen with our crystals. When I got my hands on them, immediately they said, put us in a tray, put the tray in a drawer, and we'll tell you when we need to come out,
Okay.
which is the
That's
complete
that's
opposite.
retail 101, not what you're supposed to do, right?
Exactly. That is not retail. And everyone in the store, wife, Linda, thought I was insane. Mark, what are you doing? How are you going to sell this? I said, don't know when to bring them out. Either the customer will say a phrase and it'll click, or the Andaras themselves will tell you, bring us out.
Right.
And after a year of doing it, and all of my employees within 2 weeks got it, and they still
Right.
couldn't figure out how that's working. And we would always sell out of the Andaras, even though they weren't even outside for anyone to see for the first year. It wasn't until after the first year and I had the actual physical and scientific evidence in hand that they came from the drawer and they
Right.
started to appear all around the store. Because the
So
scientific evidence I found through my research told me exactly what they were and why they were. They were first materials that manifested originally as monatomic metallic elements, a powdered like substance of metallic elements, gold being one of them.
right.
And when they are heated to high temperature, either through volcanism, lightning strike, or some kind of other phenomenon, they can and will turn into a glass-like substance that is still monatomic in its nature. And certain monatomic, or I should say crystals, will actually generate that monatomic dust on themselves. And that was the final clue that made me understand how these are what you would call prima matter materials, first matter materials. And they're just
Okay.
on the edge of being matter. They're much more spiritual side than actual side. That's why they disappear now and then, as you've experienced yourself.
Yes, I purchased, I think 7 or 8 of them, and I only know where 4 are right now, and I have them with me today. They're somewhere in my house. They're hiding.
They're
But they're not
working.
hiding. They're working. They're working.
They're working.
And
They never hide. It's
this one
working.
was working. This one was working for a couple weeks, and it decided to say hello yesterday. So that's why I think it knew we were going to do the show today. So I was like, "Oh, hello, friend. There you are." And then when I thought I lost them, I told Mark. I was like, "I think I lost half the crystals." And he's like, "No, they're just working. They'll show up." And then this one showed back up. So it was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
hello, friend." So I didn't
Oh,
panic.
I've seen it happen so many times. So many different. In fact, we can give you a small story. When we got one of our first Andaras, Linda kept a small pouch in her purse, and sometime during the first year, I forget what kind of stone it was, but it was one of a nice stone. And she went to put it in her purse, and she took out the pouch, and then Andara immediately said, "Do not put in with me."
Oh,
And Linda said, "Play nice." Since she put the stone in with Andara, he conveniently forgot about it. So about a week later, she remembered, "Oh, I need to get this stone." And she goes and opens her purse, opens up the pouch. The Dara is still, but the little stone that someone had gifted her wasn't.
Oh,
So the Andara got rid of the stone somehow.
yeah, I think it did.
All it would tell us, it was in a dark place.
Oh,
That's all the Andara would. 10 years later, when we're moving and we're cleaning out the house, in the back of the bathroom cabinet, way in the back, under things that have moved for more than 10 years, was that little rock.
huh.
And there's no way we could have put it there because it was behind things that had been put back there as storage.
Well, it wasn't a dark place, so at least the Andara was telling the truth, like, right?
Yeah, it didn't just throw it on the side. It just put it somewhere like, okay, I told you not to put it there. You're gonna learn your lesson now 10 years later. Because time for them uh not real.
Right.
So 10 years is nothing for something that's been around forever.
It was just kinda hiding.
Mhm.
It's all good. Tell me about Lady Nellie.
Lady Nellie was a Choctaw Indian woman who moved to Southern California, and in the late 1960s, she was visiting some sacred land, not Mount Shasta, near there. And what she found was these certain plants that were growing wild there that she would use in her medicine, but they were bigger and much healthier. And at the time, she was using plants for herself and for others of her family, and she was a healer and a worker that way. And one day, she found out that she had heart disease and that she only had 6 months to live. And what happened was she went home because she was very upset with that. She was the care of her grandchildren because her children weren't in a proper place to take care of their. So she was taking care of them, and she's going, "What are they going to do? I'm not going to be here for them anymore." So she prayed to God. She was very religious, and she got a dream. And a dream told her that on the land up in the mountain there was this place where these uh, plants are growing, and they're growing in white powder. You need to tea from that plant growing in the white powder, and that'll cure you. So she did. And within 6 weeks, she was cured.
Wow.
The white powder that she described immediately said, okay, wait. What is this white powder that
Mhm.
she's using? She didn't use, but she knew about. And when the person that discovered what they were, and this, the synchronicity of all this that's going on when I'm doing my research, his name was Patrick Bailey. He nutritionist and bio, uh, can't remember the exact word, but he biophysician. He was really into chemicals in a good way, vitamins, supplements, and all of that. And he had his own company, and he kept getting told about the Indian woman that was curing AIDS.
Hmm.
And he's going, yeah, right. And until one of his clients, a lawyer friend of his, said, Patrick, you really need to talk to Lady Nellie. There's something going on. She's curing. One of my clients got cured by her. You need to find out what the heck is going on.
Right.
So Patrick contacted Lady Nellie and asked her, can you send me some soil sample where you're getting your uh, plant and your herbs from? And she did. She sent him a box of dirt, literally a box of dirt. Is a step. So Patrick's not an analyst. He doesn't have the equipment to analyze it. He knows somebody that does. He was the world's foremost uh, dirt uh, scientist. He's sampled dirt from mountains to everywhere else around the world. So he knew how to do it. He had his own center off of campus. He was just that smart of a guy.
Mhm.
And he ended up getting a sample from Patrick, and he tested it. And what he found was resonance he's never seen before for dirt.
Of course.
And then he found testing it, he found monatomic metallic elements in that. And that all of the science came through. And then that was the discovery that nobody had actually done the work that I have done to connect all of these dots that were kind of by themselves strange.
Right.
But when you put the whole thing together, you get this picture of 10,000 years of things going on and why they work. Why did the Egyptians what they call the bread of life? Why did the Israelites have the manna, which was their term for the bread of life? It's all monatomic, where they were using in order to aid in their spirituality and also in their powers of their mind in order to run the way they needed to. Yep, exactly. So all goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And just so happened the Andaras walked into the door and said, "Okay, Mark, you need to go and research this." And my part. And it's still ongoing.
Oh, absolutely. So, I know a lot of crystal lovers like myself out there. What is your invitation for them to be curious about Andara crystals?
Well, the invitation is generally from the crystals themselves.
Okay.
When a lot of people see them first time, one of two things will happen. There are those who will say, "Oh, that's just glass."
Mhm.
Damn, it is. And then there are those who have access to certain frequencies because of what they truly believe in. And we encounter Andara crystal, immediately their and start vibrating, so to speak. And go, this is something, I don't know what, but this is, I can feel the energy coming off of that. And that's the reaction we've been having for what, 22, 23 years now.
Okay. So, people need to be curious. And I love how your website describes everything. So tell me, how do they get the different colors then? If they start, and this is me just asking a silly Kelly question,
Oh,
but
no, no
there's
silly
there are all
questions.
these beautiful different colors.
Like any gemstone, the colors will be based upon whatever metallic element in them. Like if you have certain types of metallics within corundum, which is rubies, sapphires, get different colors. A
Right?
certain metallic or metal will cause rubies to be red. Certain other metal will cause rubies to be sapphires. They're both in the same family, but they're different colors. Sapphires can be any color of the rainbow.
Okay.
So it's all about the metals and what kind of metals are there around those Andara crystals when they're forming. So just like any other gemstone, it depends on the background that they're in.
Okay, that makes sense. So what do you recommend? And again, you're just a guide, and the crystals are going to talk to the potential person that they're going to be connected with. When you go to your website, there's a lot of different options of crystals. How do you
Mhm.
recommend, how do you invite or recommend that people go through the website and then, um, I don't wanna say rediscover or be curious because that sounds silly, but to, connect with the crystal that they're gonna choose?
Pretty much
How do
what
you recommend people shop? Like, that's because I was saying it in, like, this Kelly way, but how do you, there you're at the website, you see all these beautiful crystals, you probably, a lot of people probably won't even know where to start, and then you have how do you recommend that they use your website?
well, basically, when you're on the website and you look at crystals, two things you wanna do. Which one is calling to you? You kinda notice immediately, like, that one's connecting with me. I can just see it, and it just shines better than anything else on the website. That's one of the tells. Another tell is it might even right then and there. It's like, "Hi, I'm yours. Are you gonna get me? We need to work together." And in fact, I've been waiting a few thousand years for you to be reincarnated so we can work together again. A lot of times, they've already worked with them in prior lives. They just don't remember. And then all of a sudden, they'll see this crystallized stone, the Andara, and something will just kind of click, and they don't even know what yet.
Right.
And then they start working with it, and more so the memories of what they were before and doing before is a pattern that they've been doing in this presence. And that connection gets made right there also. So
Got it.
basically, when you're shopping and looking for your particular crystal, know that the one you find is actually an old. You may not think it that you're just discovering a new friend, but actually it's an old friend
Right.
that you've worked with before.
Makes sense. That's
Yeah,
why
that's just
I
it's real
that's
simple.
why I picked the ones that I picked. Well, it is real simple and everything and everything anytime I talk with you, the it does. I go like this and then I bring it down simple and then it's like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Mhm.
You also have some sacred geometry on your website. Tell us and then there's like is it a grid of 8? Different ones, I might be wrong. There's one that has the 3 circles, and actually that's the one that we're putting in the article in the next edition of the Edge magazine. Tell us a little bit how they work with the crystals.
For that particular bunch, these were that image that you're talking about, that's the card, the Key of Possibilities.
Key of possibilities, that's it.
Right? Once I was all this information was good on the Andara crystal themselves, and what also came downloaded was a connection to old Lemurians, and that's a whole nother story in itself. And the cards that kind of created themselves when I was doing that showcase the different gates that we kind of lock ourselves behind. Now, the Key of Possibilities gate is one of those. It's a little key that unlocks those things that we have chosen to not be aware of. Say, okay, that doesn't exist. Click, you shut the door on that one. Key of Possibility does is, okay, for you, we're going to use this key and open you up to the possibility so you can access what you thought wasn't real. And a perfect example was a person I was helping, and she was a healer, and she had gotten a black Andara crystal, and she wanted to use it in her healing sessions with people. And what happened, this crystal would sit there, and she knew it was powerful. It's just that nothing was. She just couldn't connect with it, so she didn't know what to do. And my first reaction was, "Oh, here's the Key of Possibilities. Here's the card. Back some of them, just as a test, and put it under your stone and watch what happens." And she did that. She put it under her stone, and immediately, stone transformed into like a black dragon.
Mm,
It was like blown away, and it was talking to her. And she said it had been waiting for me to open it up because we'd worked in other lifetimes. In fact,
right.
she said it was like many lifetimes we were working together, me and this dragon. And from that day forward, it's no longer just her working on the person and her energy. She also has a healing with her. So that's one of the activation processes. That one was one of the more crazier ones. I go, okay, you got a self Andara dragon. Cool. That's amazing. But it still works. And the Key of Possibility still works. More of the person has that information already in them. It's just that they don't look in that particular spot anymore because they've decided that that spot's no, that doesn't what I believe in, and they shut the door on it.
Got it.
And what the Andara crystals do is the door. And sometimes they need a little, not so much they need a help, but the person needs the help needs a crutch.
Sure.
And it was just that one little card that was able to get her past that blockage that she had.
So how do the crystals connect with the, Hawaiian concept of aloha? And what does that energy represent?
Well, and I have several articles on it on the website, is a recognition of the God within. And not just yourself, but the God within everything. Your Andara crystals, the trees, the plants, the animals, the rocks, your table, your chair. God is everything. It's in everything. And what aloha means is that you recognize not only the God within you, we recognize that same God is in everything around you and everyone around you. And when that recognition of understanding, it takes you to a complete level of interaction with people. You no longer talk to people on a just physical. You are talking to them as they are as God. So that's a whole different reaction. And that person now is receiving energy and information, not just from the uh, physical realm, seeing, hearing, sight, sound. They're also getting information from the infinite. And basically, it's a reflection of themselves, of what be. So whenever you're looking in aloha at someone else, you look at yourself and what can be. And that's like the most powerful thing in the world.
Oh gosh, yes.
When
Oh
you
my
know
goodness.
their God and your God, nobody takes advantage of anybody else because you're only yourself. And there's a
Yeah.
real difference when somebody into a room that has that presence. And they can be totally invisible if they want to be, or they can start talking and all of a sudden, who is this person? And I've seen it happen over and over and over again. And I know you've been practicing your invisibility lately, or I should
I
say
have
you.
been. I did a very good job on, Saturday night at a restaurant, and it was really funny because these servers were, like, going around our table and just kept going around our table to the point where my husband and I wanted a water, and I went over to the bar to go get a b wa some waters for us because no one was seeing us, and then I clicked it out, and the general manager came over and said, "You guys have been sitting here for a while. Have you guys been helped?" And I'm like, "Nope." He's like, "We'll get on that right now." And I said, "Beautiful." So I'm still working on my invisibility
Yeah, that
abilities.
that particular one is more called a dropout. You've
Mhm.
actually dropped into a reality right next door to the one you're in. So they can't see you, but exactly the same.
Yeah,
I
that's how it
used to have
felt.
problems with that time, and I wasn't even sure what I was doing. Things would just happen where what I saw was not exactly what Linda saw,
Right.
and it was hilarious at times. Like,
Huh.
we were in a front of a bank, and our car dropped out of space, and everybody started walking. And she going, "What is going on? Nobody's even looking." I said, "Oh no, we dropped in an adjacent. We're in a bubble right now. Nobody can see us. We'll get us out of the bubble. Everybody's gone. I'll drive through, burst the bubble, and we'll go back into reality." And you just had your bubble experience. That is so cool.
It was an interesting experience, Mark. I was not gonna share it with you online. I was gonna do one of those but let's just I think it's great here. Okay, before we sign off, I I know you have beautiful stories and you are an author and you are a teacher and you have some beautiful cards and we're gonna have more, videos like this and connections. Do you have a transformative experience from either yourself or Linda or a client that, people had with, Andorra crystals that you just wanna share with the audience? Because I know you have a bunch.
Transformative. Um, there's
Or
so
it
many.
an X I know there are. Like, what's one that it's almost so cool that it doesn't sound like it's real?
We had a customer come into the store, crystal people. And at the time, we had this really large, about 5 or 6 pounds, Earth Shaman Andara. And he kept walking back to it. He kept walking back to it. And finally, he stopped and he asked, "What is that?" And I told him, "Well, this is Earth Shaman Andara. So it's for earth healing and healing of your body and spirit." He goes, "Can you?" So I gave him the whole, story about them and what they were. And he's talking to his wife again. He says, "I gotta have that stone. I have to have that stone. It's talking to me. Do these crystals talk?" I said, "Yeah, they do talk." He says, "Okay, I gotta have the stone. I gotta have the stone." So he bought the stone. He was super, super happy. He wasn't from Kauai, of course. He was he was back home to the mainland. And when he got there, the Andaras told him, "I need to be a pedestal that it's 36 inches tall, period. Not 34, not 38, 36." So he says, "I don't think I have anything that's." He kind of put something together temporarily till he could find a 36-inch table. And Andar down, and Andar's all happy. And he goes, "What's going on?" And he gets his measuring tape out. It's 36 inches.
Of course.
Exactly. And pretty much that really opened him up to the spiritual world and everything else. He was just amazed by what that particular Andar crystal did.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. You're in front of our beautiful audience. What is your invitation for them?
My invitation is to be curious. Take that, walk with it, and open my heart, and you'll find magic. Definitely.
You guys, it doesn't get any better than that. Well, this has been an amazing show. Thank you, Mark, for being on, and thank you for being curious with us. And the crystals say hi. They miss you, but they're having fun with me.
They're only they're only a hand away from me. There is no
That's
distance between them.
okay. Well, they're saying hello. Everybody, if we've piqued your curiosity, and I know we have, please go to lifestreasuresKauai.com. It's on the bottom of the screen. It's been scrolling. And just check out the crystals and say hello to the Andaras for us. And if there's anything we can do to support you, let us know. And thank you, Mark. Until next time, mahalo.
Thank you, and aloha.
Aloha. Explore your higher consciousness with the Edge Media Platform. We're a multimedia platform dedicated to connecting curious teachers and seekers in a safe, welcoming space. Dive into spiritual growth with our print magazine, digital content, podcasts, and in-person experiences. Whether you're seeking wisdom or sharing it, we're here to inspire and uplift your journey, here, there, and everywhere. Connect with us today.